All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Britten McDowell, Triple Diamond ZJ International, calling in from Radcliffe, Kentucky. Got a very cold, wintry night out here. Lots of ice, lots of snow. You'd think that we were Dr. Fisher's neighbor, the way things look out the front door. But super excited to be sharing this information with you tonight. Appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule to join us from all over the country. We got lots of people on here tonight. Super excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing kicked off. I'm going to ask one question before we get started. I want you to think about this. When I was given this opportunity and shared to me a little over 5 years ago, I had no idea what it would grow into, what it would be. I was very naive when it came to the industry. Had no really big clue or anything very much about network marketing, about nutrition. I was just a football coach and a history teacher. But the things I've been able to learn as we've gotten this thing up and going has been absolutely amazing. The impact of things that it's been able to do for our family, for our friends, and for the people around the world. What Marengo Affair is doing, and what ZJ International is bringing to the table is absolutely amazing, to say the least. So here's the question I want you to think about as you hear this information. What's the one thing in life that you want right now that you don't have? I ask that question because most people's answers fall into one of four categories. It has to do with finance, has to do with time, has to do with health, or has to do with fulfillment, being able to make a difference in people's lives. And you're going to hear some information tonight about a vehicle that can give you the means to improve each one of those areas for yourself and for many others. So without further ado, I want to introduce our featured speaker tonight. He's a gentleman I have a huge amount of respect for. I count myself privileged to consider him one of my close inner circle personal friends. He's a friend, he's a mentor, somebody I value highly. He's been published many times over. He's traveled the globe, sharing his expertise in numerous fields, and we're fortunate enough to have him tonight here on our webinar. And that's Diamond Executive out of Toronto, Canada, Dr. Howard Fisher. Dr. Fisher, have you been able to join us tonight?
I have, Britten. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Super glad you're here. Your expertise is second to none. So I'm going to turn this thing over to you and let you bring it home.
Well, I thank you very much, Britten, and please allow me to wish you a belated happy birthday in front of the whole crowd. How many people have actually achieved the amount of success that you have by the age that you have attained? And now I'm going to tell people exactly why there's something that they don't have that they think they may have. And it involved that little link on the front that you just saw there. And people are going to say, what is that? People always ask, what is that? Well, that's the missing link. As Britten was saying, yeah, I did have a lot of experience. I did publish a lot of books, but the one thing that I have been looking for, being an anti-aging researcher, the one thing that I've been looking for was the same thing that Ponce de Leon was looking for. I was looking for the fountain of youth. I didn't expect it to be a well in St. Augustine, Florida. I thought that perhaps we were going to have to be a little more intensive in our investigation and perhaps a little more substantial in our methodology. I noticed that none of you here have an expiry date on the bottom of your foot. And not having that means one thing. It means you can control the rate at which you age. You can actually move from a chronological clock to a physiological clock. So what is the factor that is controlling that? What is one of the fundamental problems? Well, if we look 50 years ago, what the food chain was, it was already broken. You see, the food chain's been broken for 75 years. They're just kind of hanging on. But the food chain, more or less 50 years ago, sort of kind of maybe could have been mistaken for food. We're already losing minerals in the ground. We're already losing a lot of the nutrients. But then something happened because it turned into that absolute junk food. And for those of you who are looking at the pictures on the screen right now, for those of you who see the Bud Light and the Fruit Loops, let me translate that all for you. What you're looking at is a GMO food pyramid with corn syrup candy, aspartame, which should never, ever have been legal. Factory farming for your fish, and their mercuric toxicity levels are really high. As a matter of fact, they did a testing across Canada. It was really unique. They tested the blood for about 200 different chemicals. The highest level of mercury found in any of the people tested was a native Indian chief who lived so far north in Hudson's Bay that the weather should be like it's looking like it is now. You start to think about that, and we know that we can't escape anywhere. Steroidal milk, 9-year-old girls aren't supposed to have breast estrogen chicken. We don't know why a 28-day chicken is supposed to replace something that could have been a 6-month-old chicken, but they're doing it. The fruits and veggies, where are they being grown? Are they growing in a lab? I mean, the only real organic right now in North America, because of the proximity to all the farming areas, would of course be hydroponic grown indoors. And then we have Roundup, we have Monsanto. Monsanto, no food will be grown that we don't own. And they designed GMO foods so that they could tolerate a great deal of Roundup. Now, Roundup is a pesticide that will kill everything else. And in killing everything else, that plant survives. So how good or how nutritious can that plant be? And if food was working, society wouldn't be getting fatter and sicker. And I'm going to go into some of the numbers because, you see, we have a little issue right now. And the issue we have right now is that there are 1.1 billion adults that are overweight in the world. Now, think about the world. Think of the have countries. Think of the have-not countries. 300 million people are obese in the world. Now it gets scary. 114 million of them are right here in the United States. And don't think because I'm in Canada that number isn't huge as well. Instead of having 70% overweight or obese, as in the U.S., we're about 62%. So we're not dealing with it well at all. It is a worldwide epidemic. As a matter of fact, we've forgotten about Hippocrates, who thousands of years ago said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And now it's time to take it back because, you see, we broke the food chain. And by breaking the food chain, we have destroyed, absolutely destroyed the health of the world because, you see, we're meant to breathe air, we're meant to drink fluids, and we're meant to eat food. And no one's dying of asphyxiation. No one's dying of dehydration, although we're getting some maladies. And our immune systems and our health is being destroyed by the fact that food doesn't work. And I can prove it. I can prove it. I mean, statistically significant, 51% would be all. 51% of the population was not healthy. In the United States, 308 million people, last census, at 51% was not healthy. Issue, we have a problem. So let's look at it. Let's start. That's 320 million right there. We're only dealing with a population of 308 million, so immediately we're off to a very bad start. 45%, 45 million, have chronic headaches. 44 million have osteoporosis. 40 million suffer from heart disease. 40 million have arthritis. 30 million have sinus problems. Those are 90 million heart issues already. Okay, heart, that very strongly may be dietary related. Osteoporosis, very strongly may be dietarily related. So we have issues here. 26 million have diabetes. Well, for the most part, if it's not type 1 autoimmune, which we could certainly debate about the fact that it's nutritionally related, 26 million have diabetes, and they're predicting by 2050, they're predicting that 35 years from now, there'll be 130 million. They don't know how to control it. I know how to control it. Britain knows how to control it. But since they don't know how to control it, the 79 million have pre-diabetes. It's a new category. Can you imagine you get your car to the dealership and you got to get, I've got a pre-flat tire. I'm going to have one day. I don't know if I can stop it. Well, that's not the case. So when you have pre-diabetes, what does that mean? It means they don't know what's going on. 20 million have asthma, 15 million men have benign prostatic hypertrophy, 12 million have cancer at any one time, 1.2 million new cases every year, and it's rising. 12 million have sleep apnea, 6.1 million Alzheimer's, 2 million have emphysema. 2 million people get hospital-caused infections every year. And I'm not even going into the fact that 9 million people go into the hospital unnecessarily. 103,000 of those 2 million die from it every year. I just read that 36,000 people die from influenza, 7 million cases of acid reflux, HIV, over 1 million Chlamydia over 1 million. Gonorrhea 300,000. Lyme disease, that number's low. That's an official number. It's over 1 million. Infectious disease doing very well. Who's healthy? Who's healthy? That's 900 million diseases. Here's the problem. No one's eating whole foods anymore. No one is eating whole foods. Whole foods will give you 90 to 95% of the nutrients they contain if you don't kill them, if you don't cook them, if you don't nuke them. So we don't see that anymore. We see long storage, long shipping, fertilizers, pesticides. It's not making any sense. But what if you could get all the nutrition you would need from a tree that's 5,000 years old? It's so old that there's clips in the Bible about Moses in Exodus throwing it into the water. It's so old that there's hieroglyphics in ancient Egyptian times that call it the tree of immortality. And it's called Moringa oleifera, and it's got 46 antioxidants, 36 anti-inflammatories, omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, all the amino acids you need. It's got over 500 verifiable health benefits. We're not even going to go into this because, you see, this is the accepted number. It's actually much higher. It's actually closer to 15 times the potassium bananas, 25 times the iron of spinach. But we're not going there. Now, this is from a paper called by Palawell, 2011. So you see, it's very current. Have a quick look here because I'm not at liberty to discuss this. I'm not going to say what this plant does because what this is the plant just being taken into your body in an enzymatically alive format, and things happen. Now, if this plant wasn't validated by everybody, it would be validated by nobody. Fact of the matter is, you can go to PubMed right now and see 329 papers that validate this. And here's why. Here is why. Everything you can think of that the body needs for survival is in this plant. So let's look at the reality. Humans are nothing more than physiological factories. That's all we are. We create things. We take in raw materials. We have a set of machinery just like a factory. So as long as our equipment is in good state, we can make these if the raw materials are there. So are we providing raw materials? Not so much because the food chain is broken. Now, here's all you need to live a much longer life. Diet. Proper diet. Try not to hurt yourself. You're not going to get nutrition from the food chain. Supplementation. Well, people think supplements are pills and capsules, and I don't think so. I think supplements are whole foods, and I think we're discussing the best food right now. So those of you who are putting that in your body, I've already got that covered. Exercise, meditation, good quality water, good quality air, and protection from electromagnetic radiation. Interventions into any of those areas will extend your life and decrease the rate at which you age. So the expression used to be give the body what it needs and the body will repair itself. Well, I've changed that because I'm a lot more realistic. I understand there's billions of toxic chemicals, billions of pounds of toxic chemicals, 100,000 different chemicals being thrown into our environment every year. So my new amendment to that is give the body what it needs and the body responds to the best of its abilities. Because what happens when your organs won't function? What happens when your liver is so toxic you can't get it to do the work that you need it to do? So give the body what it needs and the body responds to the best of its abilities. Now, when you continue to give the body what it needs, the abilities increase. Think about that. That's significant. Because we know Moringa oleifera is a very potent detox. So what happens when we start to increase the abilities of this physiological factory? Well, that's exactly what we are seeing now. So an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Absolutely. And Moringa a day makes an apple look like it's got no nutrition at all. So if you would eat an apple every day, would you take Moringa every day? It only makes sense. Now, we have Olympics coming up, so this really makes a lot of sense because these are a couple of Olympic athletes, and the box they're sitting on, yeah, Gatorade is sugar crap, but Pepsi, but the box that you see on your left-hand side of the screen, Well, that's a box of Moringa oleifera. So I'd just like to close out here before I have to get running. Let's see, maybe I can go a little while longer for another minute here. I'm so happy and so fortunate for Ken Brailsford. Ken Brailsford, he's an icon. He started herbal encapsulation. Herbs are where it all started from, people realizing that, hey, we can actually eat foods. And in actually eating foods, we can move forward. Now, he started Nature Sunshine in 1972. It's still around. Millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales annually. And then he started another company called Enrich in 1985. And that was bought at the turn of the century by a small company called Rexall Drugs for close to $1 billion. Then he saw the Discovery Channel documentary that you all have seen and started this company. And I'd really like to thank him for doing that, because you see, in providing this opportunity, by providing Moringa oleifera enzymatically alive, made in an FDA, well, not made, but of course assembled in an FDA-approved facility at pharmaceutical grade, we now have a product that's in 40 countries that can change the face of health in the world. And those of you who are listening to me, all you're doing is sharing the opportunity for health. And if people are listening even further, you're sharing the opportunity for health that they can get for free. And if they're listening even further, you're sharing the opportunity for health that they can get for free and maybe make a little money. And that's why their product line is so effective, because it contains Moringa oleifera. Choose your nutrition, and they have Smart Mix, Super Mix, XM Plus, Prime 90. Choose your means of weight management, AM caps, PM caps, XM Burn. Choose your tea. Everyone needs a detox. And then you'll see what happens. And it's rather amazing what happens. And look who, the birthday boy himself. Peak performance for the athlete. We have several systems: skincare, athletic, nutrition, weight management. And being that, offer the people that you care about the opportunity for health. Offer them the opportunity to get their health for free, and then offer them to change their life with a plan B. And I'm going to let Britten McDowell, Triple Diamond Britten McDowell, my friend, tell you about that.
Well, Dr. Fisher, definitely appreciate you taking time to share that. Fantastic job. Every time I sit and listen to you talk about why we need this plant, this botanical, I learn something every time, and hopefully this will show people how we can take advantage of this opportunity that we have here. Our comp plan is very simple. This business model is very simple. In fact, everyone on this line does network marketing every single day. Just some of you get paid for it, some of you do not. The way it usually works is, somebody says, hey, I've got a problem, or they make a complaint, they talk about something, they seek out advice, and oftentimes we make free referrals all day long for people who will never, and I mean never, compensate us for making the referral to them, making the referral to their business, to use their product or to use their service. Well, this industry is very simple. Our system that we have to use to grow this business is very simple. We pique curiosity. How do we pique curiosity? We simply listen to the people that we're talking to. We ask them to take a look at some information, and then we let them hear somebody else's story. That's the plug, where we put them on the phone with somebody else that has more experience, knows a little bit more, answers those questions. And the more often you do that, the more often you have people that choose to use the product, or even possibly choose to do the business and to use the product, you get compensated. Our comp plan is generous. It's set up for the average person to make to where you can make $500 a month pretty easily with this comp plan. Get your product paid for each month very easily, so you eliminate an overhead. I'll talk about that in a minute. So, you have the opportunity to begin to generate income. And, when I asked that first question earlier, what's the one thing you want in life that you don't have right now? Most people will say it's a financial need. That's the number one response. And so, would $500 a month make a difference for most families? Absolutely. That takes a one-car family to a two-car family. That pays tuition to college. For a lot of people, that that eliminates the student loan payment. That eliminates the house payment, the car payment. And so we begin to see how this can impact from that standpoint. And once someone makes more money, then that usually allows them to work less, which gives them more time. You've seen how Moringa can impact the health variety of things. So this company is going to reward you financially for making referrals of their products. If you do it enough and you grow a big enough team, they're going to reward you by giving you a Mercedes-Benz to drive. This is a fantastic opportunity. Now, they don't give you the car. They give you an allowance towards that car unless you're Dr. Fisher, who won a Mercedes at the last convention. So they're covering his lease for the time to go with that. You have the opportunity to get free product by simply finding a couple of people who want to do what you're doing, who want to use the products as customers, maybe want to possibly become distributors. As long as their enrollments equal 250 PV a month, you become Team 250 qualified and get a gratis auto ship. Training and support is second to none. We have everything in place. The systems are in place. The road has been built. You have the ability to be sitting there in a high-performance sports car on the road to the goals that you've set for the rest of your life. And this is one of those things that can help you do that. Leaders from here, there, and everywhere throughout Team Elite, throughout Team Excellence Elite will be here to see you be successful. And I promise you this, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for me, and that is I'm going to be as committed to your success as you are. That's why on Saturday my family and I are loading up. We're going on the road to Western Kentucky. Then we'll be in Southern Illinois on Saturday afternoon. We'll be in West Tennessee on Saturday evening, and then come back. That's why we're doing that because we're committed to those who are committed to growing their business and impacting people with this opportunity. Timing. A billionaire's secret to success is being in the right place at the right time and then taking action, doing something about it. We're in the midst of a project where our goal is to enroll 5,000 new people in the next 90 days. We're about 14 days in. We've enrolled about 300 new people so far just in Excellence Elite alone. We're growing at a great rate. We've got people, activity levels are through the roof. I'm super excited about what we've got going on. But you got to understand, it moves a little slower on the front end, but as we grow and we gain momentum, things are going to be unbelievable as we hit that 90 days about the 1st of May. And so here's my challenge to you. If you're a guest on the line tonight, if you're sitting here watching this information, I'm going to ask you something. Is it better to be sitting on the front of in the front of the bus, or is it better to be running behind the bus trying to catch it? You tell me which one's better. Where do you want to be? Because right now you have an opportunity to get a front row seat. You can get in on the front end. You have the option that if you wait, you can be on somebody's team. But if you take action, you can have people on your team by the end of the 90 days. Which one do you want to be? This company is charging towards momentum. When we hit momentum, it's going to be unbelievable. As my good friend Diamond Elite Joel McNitch says, he says, if you want to be in the dough, you got to be in the grow. And that's when a company hits momentum. Everything that we've done up until this point has been building towards that, the actual the lift off of this company. And you have a chance to position yourself, to partner yourself in a primetime position with the fastest moving team inside the company to take advantage of everything that we have going on. Getting involved is simple. If you want to be a customer, get your spot, get back to the person who invited you to this opportunity webinar and ask them, say, hey, tell them what you want to take. This is what you want to do. We'll get you in the system. We'll get your product ordered. It'll be shipped from the warehouse to your house. And you'll be able to start consuming Moringa oleifera and these fantastic products in a very short amount of time. But if you're looking at the business side, if you know a few people who could benefit from what you've heard tonight, so, who could benefit? Let's see, do you know anybody that breathes air and drinks water? I think we know a bunch of those. Do you know anybody that has skin? We know some of those. Do you know people that eat food? We know some of those. So who can benefit? Anybody. Do you know some people that you want to share this benefit and this blessing with? What I encourage you to do is look at the business options. I'm a countdown kind of guy, so let's look at option 3 first. This is our Builder 2 system. It's our largest investment. It's not tens of thousands of dollars to start your business. You're purchasing product. You're locking arms with Ken Brailsford. You're joining his team. He's taking the responsibilities. He's assuming the risk. He's doing all the heavy lifting, and you're just getting started and joining him is what you're doing. You're joining between us at Excellence Elite. The biggest option, $1,320. This is the biggest option we have. It's going to get you, if you do our build your own system, it's going to get you 4 cases of nutrition, 4 boxes of capsules. It's going to get you 4 combination boxes of daily tea and premium tea. And then you're going to get 32 samples. And what we're going to show you how to do is how to leverage those samples to help other people get started, to create some buzz, create some curiosity, but more importantly, to help you recoup some of your initial investment, to help you get some recoup cash back in your pocket. But here's the reason why we encourage Builder 2. It gives you plenty of product to start with. It gives you plenty of product for you to use so you can get a full variety, try everything and find out what's best for you. And the other thing it allows you to do is it allows you to maximize our comp plan, to give yourself a 50% raise in our team commissions for the first 6 months of your business. Now, if your boss came to you today and said, "Hey, do you want to make a 50% more for the next 6 months?" Everybody's going to say, "Yeah." And this gives you that option by simply making the commitment to the company. The bigger the commitment you make, the better they take care of you. Option 2 is exactly half of option 3. It is called a Builder 1, 2 nutritions, 2 caps, 2 teas, 16 samples, and then 3 months of bonus commissions. Option 1, the personal system, one nutrition, 1 cap, 1 tea, 8 samples. The investment on the option 1 is $330. You can see that on the screen. So this is what I tell you. If you're wanting to get started, get started. Do what you can do. Take action, get going in the right direction, because for things to change, you've got to change. So our first step, we want to get you involved. Our second step is we want to make sure you're active. We're going to set up your auto ship. This is the product that you're going to use each month. We're going to get that set to you. We want to make sure you're on that 150 auto ship so you have a little extra product, and you maximize that comp plan, that you make sure you get the full 20% of your first order bonus. Then we're going to get you qualified. That's where we're going to go to work. Rapid Fire 48, Fast Start training system. We're going to go to battle with you, make your list, start helping you make some calls, making some approaches, showing you the resources, showing you how to do this business and get you qualified and find your first 2. 2 customers, 2 distributors, 1 customer, 1 distributor, whatever it is, we get you qualified. And that's how that's the first steps to Life Unlimited. Get started, get active, get qualified, and that's how we lead to this. And let's go back to that question that I asked earlier when we first started this thing out is, what's the one thing in life that you want right now that you don't have? I hope that question's been burning a hole in the back of your head for the last, 20 minutes or so, thinking about what it is that you want for your business, or, what it is you want for your life. Now, here's the question. I'm not trying to be insensitive or not trying to be a jerk by asking this question, but you know the answer is what you're doing right now going to get you that one thing that you don't have right now. And the answer to that question is no, because if it was going to get it for you, you'd already have it and you wouldn't be wanting it. So to quote my friend, to quote somebody that's taught me a lot, Jim Rohn, he said, for things to change, you've got to change. And I promise you this, I can't think of a better thing possible for you to make, a better change for you to make than getting involved with ZJ International. It might be that you just have those health needs and you want to get your health lined out first. It might be that, you know that your issue is time and money. Whatever it is, if you want a different result than what you have right now, you have to do something different. You have to take action. You have to understand that this could be the opportunity. This could be that thing that you've been seeking, that you've been wanting, that you've been praying about, the solution, the answer that you've been needing. This very well may be it, because I didn't know it 5 years ago, but when I took a look, it's what I'd been asking for. And I promise you this, I've seen it in my own life. I've seen the weight loss. I've seen the products work. I've seen the business work. I have a life today that I never could have imagined 5 years ago when I was a high school history teacher and football coach. If I'd have said no to this opportunity 5 years ago, tomorrow morning I'd be finding somebody to watch my kids as I went to an in-service because they're out of school because it's a snow day, but I'd be having to go for teacher in-service day. So, with all that said, if you have any questions that are left, feel free to post them over here or get back to the people that invited you to this webinar. This is some powerful, life-changing information only if you choose to take action. So get your questions answered. I look forward to welcoming you to our team as a customer, as a distributor. If the time's not right for you, that's fine, but I promise you this, it's not going to get any better. because you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna keep getting what you're getting. So this is what, if I were you, but I'm not. But if I were you, I'd get my questions answered. I'd get started, and I'd get things moving in the right direction, because that's the only way you're gonna be able to take advantage of what's coming in the future. Because I promise you this, better days are ahead, but the best is yet to come. I'm gonna stick around and answer questions for a few minutes. Y'all have a great night, and we will talk to you all very soon.